Hello, everybody. My name is Jen Yoko, and welcome to the Yoko and Frisky's Dimensional Rift. See, my lips went into another dimension. Right now, I have here my brother from another mother, MC Metro Card Frisky.
What's up, y'all? Happy Halloween. It is October, spooky pumpkin spice season, and we're going to get really spooky tonight because we brought a special guest. You may know him as Pizza Shep on Twitter, Rum Wolf in the streets, but that saucy Mexican in the sheets. Give it up for Vincent.
What's up, y'all?
Hey! Yes, we have brought our friend from the other side of the world, which is really another state, and we brought him to discuss fun, merriment, and spooks, for it is October.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that new Bannana Splits movie that came out, which is not a ripoff of Five Nights at Freddy's. It's its own thing. It's its own cinematic
Five
universe.
Nights. Yeah.
It's kind of a ripoff of Five Nights at Freddy, but Five Nights at Freddy is still in production hell, from my understanding. So we'll be lucky to see a Five Nights at Freddy movie in like 2 to 3 years.
Maybe
Yeah.
like 2000 never.
Dang.
That movie's gonna come out like on a random Friday at Redbox, and no one's gonna care.
It's true. And then there's going to be that one person who reviews it and was like, dude, this was everything I ever wanted in a horror movie, and nobody's talking about it.
Do you know how many horror movies are released like though? Like there's so much hype and build up, and then it's released like on a Wednesday afternoon in like 5 theaters.
It's so true.
Wow. I remember, you're right, because I remember seeing previews for my Subway Valentine or some crap like that many, many years ago. And
My Bloody Valentine. Don't you
was
dare
it?
talk about my baby like that.
It was a
Yes.
movie. Was that the movie about the Subway killer?
It was in 3D.
Yeah,
So
it was in 3D. I was just like, wow, this movie's scary. I'm not gonna watch it. Bye bye.
well,
So does that?
Vince, you know a lot about horror movies, so
Well, yeah.
what's your
Again,
favorite scary movie?
like good scary movie, bad scary movie, so bad it's good scary movie. What
Oh
level we
shit.
talking?
This
Wow.
category. um Something that's good, that's like you're trying to like introduce your friend into horror. You're like, oh my god, you I can't believe you never seen this one type of scary movie.
Oof. So, if I'm just introducing somebody to horror, it would have to be Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warrior.
Straight out the gate.
That straight out the gate. We're going to number 3 because Nightmare on Elm Street 1 is good, but it's not the best. The second one sucks, but the second one is all about homosexuality in the 80s and like hiding that shit. Like, watch the second one. There's a lot of subtext there. But go straight to the third one because it's nothing but fun. Peak Freddy Krueger. I mean, he's dropping bitches left and right. He's dropping one-liners. He's dropping kids like no tomorrow. That's the one you go to. You're just getting started.
He's
Yeah, I heard that was pretty good because they bring back Nancy in this one, and she's like kind of badass, right?
Yeah, they bring her back as like the counselor who understands all these troubled kids who have nightmares that are all the same.
Feel you. Give me a bad scary movie, but one that you can that's so bad that it's funny.
So bad that it's funny. Like unintentionally funny.
Yeah, unintentionally funny.
That might have to go to Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Oh, that movie. Wow, you're going way back to like real classic horror.
I've seen all the
I'm
horror films from like 1980 and like 70s and 60s. I'm very well versed.
I feel like the 80s horror flicks were scarier than horror movies recently, because more horror movies recently are more what do you call it? Gore porn, in my opinion, like Saw and stuff.
I mean,
Us.
we had
Yes.
that. We had the gore porn going on in like the early 2000s.
Yeah, yeah.
So what happened was like in the 80s you had the slasher. Everybody was obsessed with the slasher flicks. Everyone wanted to be the Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Myers, Jason, Freddy. Everybody wanted to be that. So you had a shit ton of studios putting out these terrible movies that were just slasher flicks or just flat out gory, just blood everywhere. And that's kind of what gave birth to like the Saw franchise and all that. But we also started to see a renaissance that started with the Scream franchise.
Oh yeah.
Scream kind
Dude.
of helped redefine what horror was, what you could do with it. Now we're seeing a lot of like very deep intellectual think horror, like Us or Midsummer. What's
Get
the other one?
out.
The Witch. Yeah, Get Out.
I really like Get Out. It felt, you know what it felt like? It felt like the Twilight Zone meets realistic horror. You know what I mean? So
It was. Like if you watch interviews with the director, he actually like says he took a lot of inspiration from Twilight Zone, and he's actually the producer of the new Twilight Zone series.
Which is pretty good. I've seen a few episodes.
I've heard people have like mixed reviews about it.
They kind of do because when you take up a franchise as iconic as Twilight Zone,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna have people who are just like, nah, I grew up with it, I watched it back in, the 80s, and it was better when it was this because they got that nostalgia going on. You gotta let go of that. And most
Mm-hmm.
people don't.
Yeah. I watch Twilight Zone a lot, and a lot of them had a. I felt like they were way ahead of its time in terms of the messages and the spookiness. Not because the fact that they were scary, but the social undertones that it carried with it. Um, the infamous one that I remember that everybody possibly have seen was the beautiful looking girl and she thought she was ugly, and everybody in that dimension was what we would consider ugly, and she was ugly to them, and it was creepy, like the whole foundation of it, because we didn't know everybody was per se ugly in that dimension. So I don't know, I hope I'm making sense.
They have
No,
a
you're making
Twilight
sense.
Zone episode that's basically masquerading as a Black Lives Matter episode because there's this woman, she has a camcorder and it could go back in time.
Mm-hmm.
So and there's every timeline there's this white cop harassing her and her son who are just like going to his college to get ready for the school year, and every time she rewinds, the clock, something bad happens. Like in one timeline, the boy gets shot or they get arrested, and the dude is just following them. No matter what happens, she fucking finds the dude, the cop, and it's pretty creepy because it's very relatable to today's fragile political.
Yeah, and we can get into political stuff, but who cares?
That's
Well,
for next month.
Yeah.
well, actually, that's not for. What you have to understand when you look at horror is that horror does have a lot of political undertones,
It
a lot
really
of political,
does.
and it's supposed to mirror the common fears of. So if you look back at like a good example is Night of the Living Dead. By you have a bunch of zombies attacking this one little town, but who's the hero of that movie?
I don't know. I couldn't watch the movie. I was too scared. I'm not
Why are
a.
you
It's a
scared?
I'm
Why
always
are you
scared.
scared?
no,
You
it's
played
a black.
Resident Evil.
I have control over Resident Evil. I don't have control of a movie.
So like, Night of the Living Dead, the entire like he swears this wasn't the point of it, but I think it was that the main hero of the film was a black who was going around shooting a bunch of white zombies. And at the very end of
Ooh.
the film, though, even though he was doing good, he was protecting people. When the mob showed up, they killed his because they thought, oh, he's a zombie. They didn't even question him. They didn't even give him a second look. They just shot him. So the entire hero through this film ended up dead for almost no reason. But it was more a commentary, in my opinion, at the time because the movie came out in the late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah.
So right when the civil rights movement was starting to wrap.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, that makes total sense. I never thought of it that way. That's why I like Get Out, because in that movie, the minorities win at the end of the day.
That wasn't the original ending, though.
Oh, the original ending, he got arrested. He didn't get killed, but the original ending, it wasn't his friend that found him. It was a cop, and he got arrested. And that was just such a bummer of an ending. Jordan Peele was like, "Nah, fam, we gotta change this."
Well, yeah,
Wow.
because nobody wants to be like bummed out at the end of the movie. You want to see like the hero of the movie in Get Out get the fuck out. I would have been.
No, you're right though. Oh man.
You want to see him get the fuck
Yo,
out?
it's funny you say that because I was watching it with my dad, and we were like at the same time, "Yo, get out!" Like in the house. Oh, sorry, you killing me. You guys killing me.
You guys see Us?
I didn't see that one yet. I wanted to
seen it.
really badly.
I
I
dug
saw
it.
it in theaters. Yep. I have
What you-
so many questions, but at the same time, it's one of those movies where you don't apply logic.
I think that's what people's problem with it is. Without spoiling anything, it reveals they reveal too much, which leaves you asking a lot of questions. But I just enjoyed it for what it was. I mean, I didn't find it that scary. I thought the the idea was pretty cool, and I dug the characters, the family, you know, fighting for their lives. It's a dope concept, and I just enjoyed it for what it was. I wasn't asking like, well, how does this work? Where do they come from? Stuff like that.
I noticed critics judged that one a little bit harsher than Get Out too, because they were like, "Oh, it wasn't as scary. I guess it was a little too predictable." But I don't think that's what they were going with that film. So
Yeah, I heard theories that it's like about, you know, um, like oppression. Like you have like the clones coming up from above and taking over and stuff like that. There's a bunch of think pieces out there.
that was a Twilight episode, a Twilight Zone episode, where the clone was the theory was sometimes people come and replace you, and you're kind of stuck in a loop until that person who acts like you and thinks like you replaces you. Like it's kind of based off of urban legends too. So I thought it was interesting.
I think that Us was kind of about coming head to head with your own world. What could be scarier than a you who is at a disadvantage in life? Just straight up you without all the leeway you've had.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe Jordan Peele just wanted an excuse to like have some 80s references and shoot at the beach for a little bit. I don't know. But
I mean, it could have also been a commentary on like the rich in America because you kind of did have an affluent family. And then you had the opposite of that family actually confronting them. A family that was them, but poor.
Mm-hmm.
Broke.
yeah. And it's like, why do you have all this nice stuff and we don't? Why do you get the pizza and all we get is the crust? Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like, that's something I can relate to simply because that's kind of how some of my brothers are with us. I grew up in a different situation than they did. I had a couple more opportunities than, and to be honest, they kind of mad about it.
Haters gonna hate. The butter and jealous. That's what I said. What Us did have, what I like in my horror movies personally, it had a good sense of humor, man, and that's why I like the Scream series so much because it's very meta and they poke fun at the horror movie tropes, and you got Randy in there telling people the rules of surviving a horror film, and it's a great cast. It's just a fun time, man. Especially when Part 4 came out, they were making fun of the whole reboot trends, because at the time Friday the 13th was getting a reboot, Nightmare on Elm Street was getting a reboot, and they were like, "Well, we're just doing the same movie. We're just recreating, the murders from the first movie." And I just think that's fucking genius.
Yeah, dog.
That actually reminds me. A lot of people overlook the Scary Movie franchise, but I'm not talking all of it. I'm talking the first two Scary movies.
Good ones.
Those, yes, the first two, excellent. Poked fun at everything wrong.
Yeah, it
with
did. I really like the second one because the first one almost made me throw up badly, but I see why they did it.
Was it the micro penis?
No, it was the part where the guy got too excited and was pretty much a water hose with his happy fun ending time. I almost threw up. Yeah.
That's what he sounded like. But he's right. Like the Wayans brothers knew about all the horror cliches, and they hit them like where it hurts. Like being in a haunted mansion and like splitting up and shit like that. Like this one point was like, we gotta stick together, and then the ghost comes. It's like, bye.
Oh yeah, Brenda. Hi girl. It was good knowing.
What's that song you Cindy? Yo, there's an odd reference like in that movie for like a basketball commercial. You guys remember that scene?
From the first one?
The second one where they have the basketball. They're making fun of that Nike commercial.
Yeah, you're right. Oh my gosh. I love the second one. It made me laugh more. Oh, what was the part with the dude with the small hands? And they were having dinner, and they were like, "You want me to cut that chicken for you? Don't worry, I get it." And his tiny little baby hands come out. And
my germs.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Oh, my bad. You want some pie?" And he takes his little baby hands and starts touching the pie up, but really touching the pie up. And I'm like, "Dude, can't eat that pie, my guy." Oh my god.
So the Wayans brothers actually had more ideas. The studio they were working with was rushing the film hardcore to write off the success of the second one.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time the third one came out, the Wayans brothers didn't even know about it.
Yeah, that was messed up.
Oh, that's why the movie started to get shitty afterwards.
Yeah, the studio went on without them.
Well, the Wayans brothers even wanted to make the third one. The studio was just like, "No, we're just gonna rush ahead and do this because we got writers who will write." Because the Wayans brothers actually put thought into it. No one else had.
Yeah, it's terrible, and that's why you haven't heard from that franchise ever since.
They did have a parody movie of that parody movie, and it just you can only fall down the stairs so much before you break your neck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, Marlon Wayans went on to do a haunted house.
I heard.
Oh man, what do you think of the Paranormal Activity movies? Because some people legit find those horrifying, even though it's just like an IKEA bedroom set, and during night vision.
I just don't understand why the hell nobody's just moving out of the house. Scary shit's happening. All right, I'm done. Bye.
Probably got the house at a good property value. Why people need to save money? It's a recession.
The first one was in a suburb. You can sell that shit real quick.
Oh my gosh.
It's just beautiful house, slightly haunted, white neighbors, good school district.
It's just 90 minutes of doors opening and curtains flowing through the winds. It's like, she's still asleep. She's still asleep. Oh wait, she twitched. Oh no, she's still sleeping.
Yo, the parodies to that were the best though. There's still parodies to this day of that film where there's people watching the other dude sleep and they're eating yogurt or they're dancing around the bed or or just
Yeah.
you know I I never saw the movie. I've seen clips that were considered scary and they weren't to me. I don't know.
The scariest part of that movie is when they found out how much the mortgage was.
You watch the whole movie on YouTube.
Yeah. So like that movie was like an out of left field hit.
It
Mainly
was.
It's
because
an exclusive
it
clip.
was because it was a lost footage film,
Mhm.
and those were really popular. Those
Yeah.
gained a lot of popularity because of the Blair Witch, but Paranormal Activity did it a little differently.
Mhm.
But it's like by no means the first found footage of horror.
Mhm.
No. The first found footage movie would be Bebe's Kids, of course.
Oh my god.
The horror of parenting.
Truth.
No, I think what people are scared of these movies is because they're taking place in a bedroom, and when you're in the room by yourself, your imagination runs wild. You start seeing shapes and things moving about at night, and then sooner or later you see a figure, and you're like, "Oh no!" And it turns out to be Bill Cosby.
Oh no, my drinks! Everybody get out now!
Oh my god, that actually reminds me. So I was watching 30 Rock the other day, and there's like a little segment where they bring up Bill Cosby, and apparently everyone in Hollywood knew about this before it ever broke news.
Damn.
Wow.
For
See?
real? Like, what was the joke?
The joke was like Tracy Morgan, the star of the show, didn't want to do the show anymore because he's rich, so he left the show. So they called him up and they had somebody pretend to be Bill Cosby, and he's like, "We have Bill Cosby on the phone." So the dude does the impression of Bill Cosby, and Tracy Morgan goes, "Why would you have this man call me? You know what you did to my aunt in Florida. The way she took a droopy eye."
Ooh. That's scary.
Oh, dude. You know what? It's funny you say that. I met somebody who worked in adult films, and they told me that they're telling me that in Hollywood that's just a common thing. A lot of directors, a lot of spearheads, like high rolling people just molest young children and women all the time.
That's a real life horror.
And young vulnerable men. I mean, I'm surprised there's no horror movie about it. I mean, I sound to play off your words, Mr. Rum Wolf. I just think that sometimes horror movies, and mind you, I don't watch that many, but I get more implications from video games that a lot of it has to do with grim justice, and it's either one person wins or nobody wins. So, like I think I'm sorry. I'm to bring it up. I'm thinking of Silent Hill in particular, and the undertones of child abuse and child molestation. Like, I saw that movie, didn't like the movie. I played the game, didn't like. Well, how should I put it? I respect the game for what it is. Don't like playing that shit. Go ahead.
You actually hit on like a pretty important point. It's either one person wins or no one wins. And that's kind of the horror of horror. Is it's supposed to, in a sense, mimic real life. In real life, you're not gonna win, or nobody wins. You might, somebody else has to fall, and that's kind of what real life is. Like, I'm doing well for my brothers, not so much. But that's kind of the horror of real life. You have somebody who's going to win, and you have people who won't. And it's hard to be reminded of that. And horror definitely shines.
Sounds like Vegas to me. If you want to see an accurate depiction of how Hollywood works, just watch Showgirls.
Oh my god, I hate it. Oh, I hate
That's
it.
basically what Hollywood was like all those years. It's just treating women like freaking animals, basically.
And then you push the other girl down the stairs. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, I mean, look at what's going on with like the Harvey Weinstein and Kevin Spacey and just everything, and how many people knew about it and did not.
Well, another thing is, people are afraid to speak up because if you lose that power, it's like, what am I going to do? I need to destroy them. So I'm going to tell the internet and everybody around me that they're a bunch of liars and they'll just be destroyed. I got all the money, you know? Money talks. So, yeah, more people are going to come out of the woodwork, I guarantee you, within the next coming years. Like, our culture is changing. And I see a lot of SJW stuff, and people are like, oh, but SJW bullshit. But you made a good point. Like, horror movies are like, have been that staple for years. So,
Yeah, once this current presidential term is over, we're probably getting a lot of horror movies
probably.
based on a true story.
I just want him to get impeached.
Seems very plausible. Anyway, Bannana Splits, the Bannana Splits movie.
Speaking of fruit, yeah, banana splits. Impeach bananas.
Dang right. So we had the privilege of seeing the Bannana Splits movie based off of the
story.
70. Oh my god. Based off of the Hanna-Barbera live action puppet, TV show. And I used to watch it as a kid on Cartoon Network when Cartoon Network was at its prime. Before people knew what it was, actually. Like, in its I'm going to say golden age of Cartoon Network. And I think they were parroting the Monkees. Have you ever heard of the Monkees?
Yes.
Yeah, they're like, hey, we're the Monkees. Instead, it was the Bannana Splits. And
They talk about the Gorillas. I love that band.
oh my god. Oh, well, there is a gorilla in this band. I hope you know that. Anyway, but yeah.
That gorilla looks like Chucky Finster, bro.
Yo, he do though. He do. So, do you want to go over the premise of the film?
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Oh, good evening, handsome.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's Shep. Walk us through the events of the film.
Oh, the events or the premise?
Well,
Yeah, the premise.
Yeah, premise.
So the premise of the film, without giving it away too much, is a family gets selected, well, not selected, but they buy tickets to go see a live taping of the Bannana Splits, which in this universe was like its own TV show that was recorded since the 60s on like. So the family goes out there, they get their cell phones confiscated, and at some point during the film, everything just goes awry, and the Bannana Splits turns.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you're expecting like a deep, analysis of what it's like to work on a children's show, then you should watch Magical Funhouse by Brendan Rogers. Yeah, me and Jen watched it, and we thought it was pretty cool, right?
Yeah, I'll never eat a big lollipop ever again, but it was it was actually a movie that I could tolerate watching without being like, I can't watch this anymore. Oh no, I'm scared. So that's usually me.
I thought the film was good. Overall, I thought the film was good. Definitely B quality horror.
Yeah, it knew exactly what it was. It wasn't trying to be like this super sophisticated horror film. Like, they knew, like, yeah, we're just gonna take these old characters and we're gonna turn them into psychopaths, and we're gonna see how that works out.
We're gonna maybe rip off Five Nights at Freddy's just a little.
A little's an understatement of the year.
Well, you sent me a video saying like WB had the rights to Five Nights at Freddy's and they lost them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were like, let's just make this shit instead.
Pretty much.
They were salty. But it's a fun flick. You have your first non-binary child protagonist.
I mean, you're right. And I was just like, uh-oh. Someone's gonna be mad about this one. Oh.
A universe with a little kid.
I'm just happy somebody took the rights to Banana Split and did something with, because those, honest to God, I thought the Banana Splits was something I dreamt up when I was a little kid while I was sick.
Don't you hate that?
You dreamt up the theme song too? La 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 la. It makes a good horror theme if you like slow it down and you have like Vietnamese like slaves singing.
Oh my God. Y'all terrible. I sent you the opening. 1 banana, 2 banana, 3 banana, 4. But they made the suits really to a T, perfect to the old one.
Yeah, they were faithful to the old ones. You were like, oh, they should have gave it to a fursuit maker and update them. I'm like, nah, that would like kill it, man. Like, mad people are they're mad about their reboots because they changed the designs of these characters, Sonic. But these guys were like, nah, we're just gonna keep it the same. We're keeping it OG Banana Splits, and that's what I liked about it.
Well, I was mad at first, and I saw exactly what you meant. So I was like, you know what? Okay, I'll let you have this. Because it was because the more you think about it, it felt like pre-Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, now I'm hyped for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Like, I feel like that would be a sequel to the Banana Splits one.
Well, they tease a sequel sort of at the end.
Yeah, they do, with Brenda Wong, Shelby Woo at the end.
Like, sequel, if there's a sequel, I will.
Well, would have to have a girl Banana Split.
Her name's gonna be Venus, and she's gonna be like a pumpkin.
Yo, you were talking about like a Ninja Turtle horror movie. Because have you guys seen that rotten Donatello being sold on auction sites that are coming out? And they're like, somebody needs to make a horror movie about that.
I mean, if somebody can get the rights to the Ninja Turtles.
Nickelodeon still has it, sadly.
It's not owned by Michael Bay. You could have fooled me.
Oh yeah.
What I was saying is, the Ninja Turtles had a TV show on Fox Kids, and they introduced a female turtle that everybody hated. So I was like, what if they make a movie about that production, and then the female turtle just loses her shit and kills everyone?
Yeah. Well, they made a new female turtle, and it seems like people like this newer one versus so if you watch the Ninja Turtles right now, the live action TV show with Venus, it would make a good horror show. They're creepy. They're all creepy looking. Anyway, I digress. I'm sorry.
I think this movie is gonna become not like a cult classic, but I think low key, like, the horror fans are, they're gonna take this movie and they're gonna enjoy it. It's good. It's a fun like midnight watch, with your pals. Yeah, they reference Double Dare in there.
Yeah, they do.
And it was really gory. Like, it premiered on Sci-Fi, right?
Yeah.
You see, they don't show like the full gore on Sci-Fi, so you have to see the DVD. And there were some really good kills with some annoying ass people who deserve to get killed. And then you had the mom turn into like Sarah Connor in Terminator 2. She became all badass as soon as she lost her JCPenney sweater. She's like, I gotta find my kids. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. It was a chainsaw.
It's scary. Ugh. Yeah.
What about you, man? Rum, what did you think of, the cast, the characters? Were you rooting for them to get killed?
Honestly, yes. In the Banana Splits movie, I was rooting for most of everybody except kids because number one, they were terrible
Lord,
parents
yes,
for the
Lord.
most part. Number
Yes,
two,
Lord.
when I watch a horror movie, I expect to see somebody die. And with the acting that some of those people did, yeah,
Oh,
no.
it was the acting was really like subpar, if anything.
You had bootleg Luis Guzman trying to get his daughter to get signed to a canceled television show.
Yeah, dude, I was so mad. I was so mad about
canceled,
that.
bro. That shit's canceled. She's probably be one of those kids that end up on like those little kid pageant shows,
Yeah.
like Miss Queen, those cringy ones.
And then they get molested. Just saying. Not in a good way. I mean, it's not a good thing, period. Just, sorry.
Watch, Hollywood's gonna make a movie called Lester the Molester.
Oh, my lord.
I mean, we already have a Bill Cosby biopic.
Oh, my gosh.
What's it called? NyQuil?
Oh! Oh.
It's called Take This Drink.
He's like, you want some more? Hey, have another sip. A little sip.
He's like, have another sip there, gooba dabba doo boo, but the pudding pops all up in your butt now.
Yeah, one of the banana splits is not all evil, so I was curious about the programming because I think the guy's motive was that he programmed them to be killers because they were getting canceled, but one of them
But he didn't
kind of
know.
had free will.
But he didn't get canceled until like.
A day.
But after he put him up to charge, which made no sense to me.
Well, I think what happened was like their programming may have been to entertain children at all costs. And when the show got canceled, they were no longer going to be able to entertain children. So with their weird ass logic, they have to kidnap kids now to keep entertainment.
You mean scar for the rest of their life? All those children probably need therapy.
Oh, that actually makes sense because they put those kids in that basement and they're not hurting them. They're just putting on a show for them. Interesting.
To be fair, who doesn't need therapy?
Okay, good point.
We all fucked up.
We didn't fuck up.
I said we are all fucked up.
Oh, okay.
My friend Joel says therapy has an agenda.
Jill can eat a dick.
But he likes that. Maybe he should eat a gina instead. He doesn't like gina.
Oh my god. I pressed the wrong one.
No, but it's still funny. Somebody got mad at me because they were like, say vagina, you can say vagina. I said, Gina. I'm Trump now. Gina.
All right, I have a fun question.
Mm-hmm.
If you could take like an obscure like children's show from back in the day and make it a horror movie, which one would it be?
Ooh.
That one episode of Rugrats where everyone was tripping on acid.
What? Which one was that?
It was. I remember it. It's like the one where Chucky kept having nightmares and everyone was like weird, distorted, like a circus character.
Oh, dude, that's just the animation. The animation was really low budget. I think I have an idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, but there was an episode where I think it was like the first episode where Tommy was sick and then he had a fever and he was clearly hallucinating.
Oh, what about that episode where Angelica found out that she might have a little brother or sister, and then she had like a nightmare where she had ended up having a big like she had a little brother, but it was bigger than her, and she like put her in a closet or some shit.
Yeah, that was a creepy
yeah.
one. I was.
Yeah.
The episode I'm thinking about, I just realized, like the quote, the like biggest quote from it is, "I'm not dude," and then the dude turns.
Oh
around.
yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that was a creepy sequence. Oh, some children's shows were messed up.
Well, dinosaurs. Remember dinosaurs?
Yeah, there was an episode where he got roid rage, and he had spikes shooting out of him.
Yeah. Okay. So one episode from dinosaurs really scared me. It was, I think it was rotten food, and it was literally a Gremlins episode, but it frightened the shit out of me as a kid. That one, and when the baby got sick, he was possessed and he was crawling on the walls, and like, it was the Terrible Twos. He was 2 years old, and they kept playing like the like Michael Myers theme. It was really crazy.
Oh, Michael Myers is not even scary anymore. He just needs a hug.
Dude, if you type in dinosaurs, Baby Sinclair, Terrible 2 episode, it shows up. It's really creepy because, like, the house shakes and he's possessed and he's like, I want my bottle. It was like, that scared me so much because they had the Exorcist undertones. They had to get what looked like a priest in there. And then they had to trick the baby into thinking he was 3 years old. So it was just, whew. That episode will always live in my mind as creepy as fuck. Pardon my language. Creepy.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah?
Well,
yeah, okay. I'm going to send it to you right now. Go ahead.
I'm trying to think of like.
On the topic of creepy things, let's take a step back in time and history. Let's remember, are you
What? Are you what?
afraid of the dark?
Oh shit! You got me hanging. Yo.
Dramatic pause.
Funny.
Dramatic pause.
Funny.
I remember Are You Afraid of the Dark? Spent many sleepless nights thinking about the Midnight Society and what they put in that campfire to make those visions come alive.
That would make for a great horror flick if, the Midnight
the
Society.
The reboot's coming out next week, I think.
Oh,
Right?
Yeah.
But that was like a scary. Are You Afraid of the Dark was like the competitor of Goosebumps at the time. They were like going head to head, seeing which one could traumatize kids more. But I think Are You Afraid of the Dark was a little edgier.
It had Sister, and Sabrina. What?
Yeah, they had a bigger budget, bigger star power.
Let's talk about the real horror.
Child's Play?
No, child actor.
Oh, yeah, that's
Child
true.
actors.
That's funny.
Oh yeah, I remember this. There was this show called The Nightmare Room, and Shia LaBeouf was on it, and he had a doll, a dummy, and like at the end of the episode, the dummy turned Shia LaBeouf into a doll, and that just like freaked me out as a kid. I was like, oh god. I mean, all dummies are pretty creepy.
Yeah,
even
they
the ones
are.
in Toy Story 4, man, those things were scary. Yeah, child actors are terrifying. Look at Gary Coleman.
He dead.
Is he?
He's been dead.
He for real? Gary Coleman's dead?
Yes.
No way.
He died like 2-3 years ago, man.
I think longer than that.
What you talking about, Jen?
He died in 2010.
Oh
no.
shit!
I just saw him on the Chappelle show like last week. What you talking
Oh
about?
my god. Are you sure that wasn't Ashy Gary? Come on, man.
Holy shit! I didn't know. Yeah, you're right. Yo, I had no idea, man. I was like, "What's Gary Coleman up to?" I was about to check his Twitter page, see if he updated.
He was on Judge Judy for like some girl problems.
Wow, that's sad.
Yeah.
The only child actor that made it out okay was Hilary Duff.
No. Oh my gosh.
And she's in this really bad horror movie. Stop me if you heard of it. Like The Haunting of Sharon Tate. Have you heard of it, Vince?
I hate that movie.
You saw it? You saw it?
Of course.
My God. Tell me how bad it was, please.
Her acting wasn't bad, but the whole premise of the film was in terrible taste because Sharon Tate was an actual woman who got fucking murdered by the man. And that film shit all over her.
Didn't she have like freaking visions or something?
Yeah, in the movie she was having like premonition. Sharon Tate never had premonition.
Yo, they turned. Hilary Duff had Raven Simone's powers from That's So Raven.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
It was a crossover episode.
It's painful.
Why was Raven Simone on The View for a minute?
Because she could, and then they kicked her off. They don't like her.
Was looking for her car keys and just got stuck there.
And then she started talking about not hiring black people. That's the thing. It's perfect.
Well, that's the scariest thing of all is you can't upset the status quo or they'll get rid of you.
It's truth.
The media says that if it's black, put that back. If it's white, it's all right.
Dang.
I got a few other horror movies that I like. Cabin in the Woods. It's pretty cool. It like dissects the formula of teens going into a cabin, being isolated and stuff, and they come up with like a clever explanation for why this happens.
Didn't it have like different tropes of every horror movie that they were
it had
trying
like
to develop?
It had like all the horror monsters. Like they couldn't call them by their names, but you know who was who. They had like zombies, they had like Pinhead, they had like werewolves and bats and snakes, and like third act of that movie is amazing.
There's a Cabin in the Woods ASMR on YouTube.
What?
Why though?
Because why not?
I think that's the name of the guy's. Oh, it's a person's YouTube channel.
Yeah. Last night I was watching You're Next, which you would actually love, Jen, because there's a strong female woman in the movie.
Mm-hmm. Does she die?
No, like I mean, she kicks ass because in most horror flicks, the woman is like, "Oh my god," she runs, breaks a heel, she's like, "Ah!" But this one, she her backstory, she grew up on a survivalist camp, so she knows how to kick ass. She's like the first one to like, "Yo, lock the doors, get any weapon you can, stick together." Like, I love it. She makes like booby traps, like if Kevin McAllister grew up to become like a psychopath. She has this people, and it's a great movie because you're rooting for her to like mess these killers up. And she has like this powerful moment where she like gets cornered upstairs and she just jumps out the window. Like, no fucks given, she just jumps out the window like in Resident Evil 4. Like,
dang.
That actually reminds me. There's a movie that I don't think you guys have seen it. It's called Hard Candy.
Oh, I've seen it. Jen should see it because it has Ellen Page in it.
Hard-handed?
Hard Candy.
I'm just looking these up.
Yeah, hard candy. It subverts your expectations for what the film is supposed to be, and you're just like, oh shit.
It's man, just think. Every time I think about that movie, I just get a pain in my crotch.
I just think of I just think of the Venus flytrap. It's
Ugh.
like reverse. Oh my.
So what's this movie about?
Speaking of molesters,
So what happens is this dude picks up this little girl, and he's gonna do the molestation thing,
yep.
but
But
not so. Yeah, but not so quickly. It turns out that he didn't really trap the little girl.
the girl
She
trapped.
allowed herself. Yep, she allowed herself to be trapped.
Wow. This is a
Like,
10-year-old movie?
yep.
Yeah, this is like
She's
one
like,
of her first movies, I think.
yeah, she messes him up in that movie. She turns the tables real fast.
Yeah, there's like a scene towards the end. I just cringe thinking about it because it hurts all men across America watching that scene.
I might
It's just
actually watch that movie.
Oh, the infamous castration scene. Is that what I'm seeing here?
Spoilers.
Sorry.
It's also free on a service called Tubi. You can download Tubi to your phone, and it's free.
Oh yeah.
So is the entire Puppet Master series. It's on there too.
You want to know what else is horrifying? X-Men 3.
I was gonna say my student loan.
That too. That's true. Let's be real here.
X-Men 3 is like a vacation compared to Dark Phoenix.
Wow. Okay, give me 1 second. You guys keep talking. Yoko has to check the dimensional rift machine. I will be right back.
All right, hurry up and take a poop. Anyway.
Shut up.
Yo, a movie that freaked me out as a kid was the first Final Destination, because after that movie I thought everything in my house could and would kill me, and I was afraid of going outside. Like, I was shook when I saw that movie, man.
I genuinely can't remember the last film that stuck with me. Best.
Really?
I've been watching horror movies since I was like 9. I used to watch that stuff with my mom every night when she would come home. So like, I would I was this little kid watching Tales from the Crypt and like Chucky, Nightmare on Elm Street.
You've seen it all, man. You've been through the rough stuff, the good stuff, the Netflix stuff. Did you see Ready or Not?
I'm not sure if I. Let me look that up.
It came out in the theaters in August, man. Ready or Not, I don't want to even spoil the premise, but it's just
no. Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, dude, you're gonna enjoy Ready or Not. To promote it, it's how can I explain it?
Well, I heard good things about it.
Well, this woman gets married, and as a tradition, the family plays a game, and one of the games happens to be hide and seek, but it's very, very violent hide and seek. Like hide and seek with crossbows and shotguns.
That's not hide and seek. That's hide and die.
That's like Red State. But it reminded me of Your Next because it has a good sense of humor about it. Like, I love my horror movies with a good sense of humor because it's like a nice balance. You have something terrifying happen and then someone cracks a one-liner. Like, to me, that's like the perfect balance for me. Well, and this movie has that.
Well, like, I don't like horror movies that take themselves like super seriously.
Yeah.
Always have a little bit of comedy in there because horror and comedy kind of work on the. It's weird, but
I'm back.
Welcome back, baby boo.
Hi. So what were you talking about?
The Fifth Dimension.
Oh, I'm in the 2D one, unfortunately. But we can make stuff happen here. Anyway, we're getting to the 54-minute mark. Is there any other horror things that you want to mention to the folks out there?
Oh, you say you don't like scary movies. Like, is there anything remotely close to a scary movie that you have close to your heart?
Um,
Horror related?
I mean, if you include the Addams Family, I'm a wimp. So,
Ah, that
Christi-
rolls. That bangs.
I mean,
Christina Ricci counts.
if that were a real horror flick, if the Addams Family was a real horror flick, I think it would be totally gory. I mean, I'll watch that movie over and over again, especially when it has to do with social norms and how people don't accept the Addams for who they are. And again, it's kind of like beating the nail on the head with everything we talked about. So, I mean,
I think if the Addams Family were real today, I think they trigger quite a few people.
well, there's a 3D animated movie coming out of about them, but it's like I'm not sure if I even want to see it. It looks
The only thing that
boring.
triggers me about that is the animation.
Yeah, it doesn't, but apparently it's the original concept art of what the Addams Family used to look like concept art from the original. So,
Oh,
but
there's a YouTube channel called Adult Wednesday Adams.
I know, I love that.
It was so good. I don't think she does it anymore, but
Yeah,
those
because
She does
are
it.
hilarious.
she almost got sued, is why.
Well, yeah, because they were producing that Adams Family movie you guys were just talking about, and they didn't want her making the adult. And
Oh, that's why. I thought it was because um she didn't have the rights to do it, but I love Adult Wednesday Adams. This is great.
well, she didn't have the rights to do it, but nobody cared for a long until they decided to try and reboot family franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Trying.
She was just perfect for that role. And I would have honestly paid a network to be like, hey, just have her on there, please.
Oh, yeah, she's talented, but what I understand is the freaking CW can have like 3 Superman and 5 Batman in one show, but we can't have an adult Wednesday Adams and a kid Wednesday Adams in the same time. I call
Mm-hmm.
shenanigans.
All I'm saying is I want to see Christina Ricci as Morticia. Christina Ricci was the original Wednesday. It only makes sense.
I know, I know. I'm just, I, it's too much for me, man. You can't do that.
What's the matter?
My pants got tight. You leave my kitten out of this.
Yeah, on that note, I think I hope you guys have a great October and all that good stuff. Remember, watch movies responsibly. Check the MPAA guidelines. See if the movie's right for you. And if it's too scary, man, just grab your partner with consent. And just go to town.
Consent is sexy, yay. Rum
Thank
Wolf?
you for coming on the show, Rum
Yes,
Wolf.
thank you.
Probably
Oh, my pleasure.
knows proper knowledge of this stuff.
I know all things weird, freaky.
And delightful.
What's the scariest movie you ever seen? One that actually like freaked you out?
The one that like fucked me up.
Yeah.
That goes more into the category of gore, things that you shouldn't see, but it would have to be probably the original. not the remake. The original is it'll scar you. It leaves you with some.
Original what? You got cut off.
Oh, The Martyrs.
The Martyrs. Okay.
I thought you were going to say The Human Centipede.
No, there's a couple films that were like horror films, but they're like. Imagine if Saw was like 50 times worse.
Ooh.
There's a couple horror films I've seen like that, where I've had to stop the film, walk away for an hour, come back, start back where I was.
Dang.
All right, man. We'll give you plenty of coffee and blankets to overcome your trauma.
Either way, y'all have a good evening. Keep it a little spooky.
Yay. Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye. And if an old guy offers you candy, just say no.